Welcome to virtual Japan as we are here today for round number 6.
Oh, Pearson gets into the 95 of Bolts. Here comes the caution.
Flag is dropped here at Daytona, and away we go for the first time. Nicholas Porcel, Sean.
Looks like most get through unscathed. Look at that, there's Reed Gibson. A big move at the inside line of Dom's, possibly a little bit of contact.
Now, as we've got three wide action going.
Hey, nice jump. Wilson hasn't let it go very far.
Go out here for circuit disqualifier Frankenstein. Alex Johnson's off to a brilliant start there.
Just how oddly shaped this one is. We saw in the background Eric Hahn go for a bit of a swing, and he's gone and he's over.
New stuff. Cody Graham's the one-on-one up into second place. Alex Johnson 6/10 the lead at the moment.
They're dicey up front. There's Andrew Kessel, Justin Sang.
They are ready to go. The lights are out, and away we go for the very first time here at Okayama International Circuit. Finley Fitzsimmons.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the YesterYear Racing Cup Series here at the OBRL. It's Talladega Superspeedway for this round of the Chase Playoffs. Now, we have been getting a little bit of frame rate drops up here in the booth. Not sure if that's from Hurricane Helene or what here in the booth. Not sure if that's from Hurricane Helene or what that might be. But 60 frames a second here at Team Goon Squad. Let's see how this goes. We are recording this show natively as well, so that way if the internet continues to fall a little bit short here, we can at least have this thing uploaded right after the show and make sure things are good to watch for you guys. Let's go ahead and run through the grid. Starting on pole is Josh Robinson, the number 23 machine. Chris Bates starting second. TJ Rogers starting third. Dan Hill starting fourth. Wayne Hufford starts fifth. Brian Lindsay starting sixth. Dustin Martinson starting seventh. William Martin starting 8th. Larry Corey starting 9th. Brian Lynch starting 10th. Sean Folt starts 11th. Roger Hurley starting 12th. Let's cycle it on back. And we've got Michael Dow starting 13th. Lloyd Moore starting 14th. Tom Ogle starting 15th. Jerry Isaac starting 16th. Robert Guerrero starting 18th. Patrick Martindale starting 19th. Jeff Lydon starting 20th. Greg McDaniel starting 21st. Kevin Strandberg starts 22nd. We've got Dakota Grandpa Pischke starting 23rd. James Waldo starting 24th. And let's cycle it back one more time. Tom Massey starting 25th. Eric McCluskey starting 26th. Michael Everhart starting 27th. Victor Lane starting 28th. Lonnie Corey starting 29th. Oh, we got a little bit of a blink there. There we go. Greg Hammond starting 30th. Mark Fish 31st. Chris Walsh starting 32nd. Guy Petra starting 33rd. John Hastings starting 34th. Josh Thompson starting 35th. Kristen Norris starting 36th. And I believe we've got one more. Yep, there we go. Mr. Lee Warsdale starting 37th to round out the grid here. trying to mess with some stuff up here in the booth, see if we can fix that upload hiccup we're having here. But again, this race is being recorded natively. Well, let's see if that might have fixed it here. I think we're looking better. Now we just got to pray to the iRacing and the internet gods that things keep going the way they should be. As we've got the grid formed up, double file, getting ready for 90 laps here at Talladega Superspeedway. Now, it's going to be interesting. I think the question right now is not if, but when we'll see the big one coming out here tonight. But it looks like we might have caught up here a little bit on the bandwidth, so fingers crossed. As we go green flag racing here at Talladega. Chris Bates running up front, the number 81 machine. He's accompanied by Mr. Josh Robinson. Now, is one of the longest drivers' meetings I have sat in on here at the OBRL, with drivers getting a big reminder of what's expected. And the performance we are expecting to see tonight was encouraged for these guys to run clean, keep themselves out of danger, and try and make it till the end of this thing. Now, it's always interesting for me to see how drivers kind of approach things here at a super speedway. Some drivers are going to push out front early, like Bates, Hill, Robinson, or Rogers wanting to get out front and leave most of the other drivers behind. But usually we've seen some other drivers want to hang back a little bit, playing it safe and making sure they're going to be able to make it till the end here. Now, if we stay green, which is going to be a major if, as already I saw somebody off track, and no, we are not going to stay green as the first caution is out. And there at the end, Everhart's tied up in it. I know Tom Massey was involved somehow as well. John Hastings is down pit road. So Massey showed as one of the first drivers off track. We're going to get the replay queued up here. John Hastings takes a tow back to pit road. Guy Petro was somehow involved as well. So let's focus in on Tom Massey, piloting the number 62 machine. We're in a 3 wide. The 42, I think that might be Fish. Mark Fish, John Hastings, Tom Massey all tied up in that one. Let's see what happened to Hastings. Let's back that up a little bit. Hastings piloting the number 32 machine. Might have kind of come into this one with no good place to go here. So the incident, that 3 wide incident, happens right ahead of Hastings. Hastings gets back and somebody, and man, drills the outside wall there. Guy Petro showing involved in a crash, but that might have just been iRacing registering him as slowing down enough. And I think that's what it was. Petro not really involved in that one, but John Hastings is going to take a tow back down pit road. I'd imagine Everhart is also going to come down pit road. And I'm sure Fish might have some damage on that machine as well. Now, this is interesting. Tom Ogle Came down pit road, was not involved in the incident. But he's willing to play it safe. He wants to go further back in the field, grab a full tank of gas, and maybe get off cycle with the other guys. Yeah, Jeremy Mayo calling out the comedic timing here from the broadcast booth. Right as I was saying, if we stay green, and we didn't. What I was going to say is it might have been a one-stop race if we stay green. We're going to get them all gridded up once more here at Talladega. So let's try this again. Now, it looks like your top 26 drivers have all opted to stay out. That puts about 10 or 11 drivers who came down pit road. A few of those, that was necessitated a necessary call because of damage with our good friend outside wall. And here we go, green flag racing once more here at Talladega Superspeedway. The YesterYear Racing Cup Series here at the OBRL. Chris Bates showing out front by a nose. Dan Hill up on the high side, that number 7. But you've got Robinson, Rogers, Hufford, Isaacs, Lindsay, Martin and Martinson, as well as Brian Lynch, all here in the top 10. Now it's interesting, it looks like everybody's staying right here with the lead pack. I would have kind of gambled that some drivers were going to hang back a little bit further. Now, we only made it a whopping 4 laps in, I believe, before that first caution was thrown. So our driver's going to clean it up a little bit, or is that a sign of what's to come here? Now, this is very deep into the Chase playoffs. Some drivers trying to lock their way into the next round. Next week, we go to Charlotte Motor Speedway, the Roval. So some of the drivers that maybe aren't road racing pros know they have to have a very strong result here tonight if they want to make it into the next round. Right now we have 12 drivers in the chase. Robinson, Ogle, Moore, McDaniel, Hufford, Bates, Isaacs, Foltz, Everhart, Brian Lynch, Rogers, Hill, all in the chase. But after the Roval, we're going to whittle that down to the top 8 drivers. So those last 4 that I mentioned currently on the hot seat here and need a strong result to make it to the next round. Dan Hill, that number 7 Ford Mustang, he is 12th. He really needs a good result. Sean Foltz, currently running 14th. He's on the bubble. 14th on track, 8 in the current standings. Now, we frequently say that racing at super speedways is kind of playing the draft lottery here. Sometimes things go perfectly, and sometimes Lady Luck not on your side. Chris Bates running out front. Looks like the inside line running very strong here. Inside line seems to be in a groove, not having any problems. That might be one of the safest places to be at, I think. Now, taking a look around, biggest mover we have out on track right now is going to be the rookie, Josh Thompson, the 101. There he is in the inside line, the Mobile One back Chevrolet. As a reminder to the fans, triple-digit drivers not able to qualify, and so they have earned their double-digit numbers. So Thompson had to start at the back, has gained, when I started this conversation, with 17 spots. Now it's plus 15. And he's got the current hard charger now, Lee Warsdale, the 99 machine, just beside him up on the high side. And look at that, there's Tom Ogle, number 11. A little bit further back in the field than we were expecting. Ogle, one of the few drivers that came down pit road. He actually came down pit road twice to refuel, getting himself off cycle. And that's what the fans are saying. What pit road shenanigans does Team Miata have right now? A very healthy pack here with Dan Hill leading up front, up on the high side. The number 7 Ford Mustang. He's got Chris Bates, the number 81 Toyota, leading the inside line. Now we're expecting the fuel window to be between lap 35 to 40 here. Dan Hill up on the high side, still leading the charge. Looks like, I think that's going to be TJ Rogers, the number 72 behind him. Robert Garisco has come back down pit road. No, excuse me, for the first time, Robert Garisco has come down pit road. I'm not sure if that was a planned pit stop or if Garisco might have gotten bumped around a little bit. Yeah, it's a planned pit stop there for Garisco. So off cycle down pit road all by his lonesome. It's a bit of an interesting call there. So not quite sure why we'd see that number 28 come down by himself. And I think Garisco has put it back behind the wall. So Garisco has retired from this event. Hopefully everything's all right with him there. As things are relatively calm up front, it looks like. We're not seeing too many wild moves from the drivers. Still running very much double file all across the Superspeedway. Still 32 drivers in this pack here. Lonnie Corey, Guy Petra kind of running by themselves a little bit, 33rd and 34th. You've got Jerry Isaacs, the number 51 machine. He normally does pretty well in these super speedway events. He's up 11 spots, currently running in the top 5. Lee Warsdale, the number 99, we talked about him earlier, now up 22 positions from where Warsdale started here tonight. So he is methodically making his way up towards the front. Isaacs still running right around there, but it looks like Andy Thomas going to grab a spot, the number 12. Now, looks like the field's breaking up just a little bit here. But with Superspeedway, it's just about impossible to break away. You can see your top four. It looks like a big gap there. But that's only about 0.2 of a second they have over fifth place driver Jeff Lydon, who immediately closes the gap right back up, latching onto the draft of Andy Thomas. And let's pan the camera over here. Lee Warsdale was very briefly showing up 30 positions. Right now he's up plus 29 from where he started. So Warsdale rocking and rolling here. He's got Isaacs up on the high side. I think that's Chris Walsh and maybe Larry Corey tucked in behind that 99. They see some momentum getting going, and they want to be a part of it. But I think that was Jeff Lydon dropped down low. Yes, it was the Piggly Wiggly back number Chevrolet. He's up 13 spots, sliding up the inside line of Isaacs and Brian Lynch. I'm interested to see, can Warsdale keep that momentum up? You've also got Greg Hammond, the number 88, running P5 right now. He's up 25 positions. So even though it's very early on in this event, we're already starting to see some big movers here tonight. That inside line, led by Lydon, definitely has some momentum here. Lydon trying to get ahead of Lynch up on the high side. You've also got the 88 of Hammond. Let's see, does anybody in that top five see the momentum from Lydon pushing forward? I'm waiting to see if somebody like Thomas or Martin going to drop down the inside line. The driver's playing a little bit of a game of high-speed snake here, as we've had drivers hitting speeds in excess of 200 miles an hour when they're in this massive draft pack at the Superspeedway. Now, in the past, it's been kind of weird with these next-gen Cup cars. Normally, the mid to high lines can build up a little bit more pace. I think sometimes that's negated by the inside line that can occasionally be formed up a little bit better. Sometimes it's easier when you're that second, third, fourth driver in line to be able to keep an eye on that solid yellow line here at the banks of Talladega to know where you're supposed to be turning in at. A little bit of a reference point that can make life easier. It looks like the run might have stalled here just a little bit from Jeff Lydon. But Lee Warsdale still showing up 30 spots here in the 99. Now we think around lap 35, the fuel window, the pit stop window is going to open. Around lap 42, 43, we think it's going to close, as it looks like we've got some three-wide action going on here at Talladega. Number 24, Brian Lindsay, was squeezed in the middle there. That's going to be the number 10, to Victor Lane up on the high side. Jerry Isaacs down low, the number 51. So Lindsay in the hot seat right now as he's tucked in behind the number 9 of Brian Lynch. We had an off-track reported. It's going to be Chris Sidnor. And it's going to result in him coming back down pit road. Let's get a replay queued up. See what happened to the number 29. And it actually ended up in some sort of crash. So Sidnor might have had a hardware failure here. So what happened? It shows he had a crash. But that just might have been him coming to a stop. So something happened with Sidnor. Looks like it could have been a mechanical. And that's Victor Lane showing some steam here midway through the fuel run. He's now up 24 positions. With Tom Ogle, the White Claw back number 11, helping to push him up. I also spotted Greg McDaniel, the number 1 plated car. He's trying to help get that outside line a little bit moving here. Dan Hill, TJ Rogers, William Martin still holding on to the top 3. Andy Thomas, Brian Lynch currently rounding out the top 5. And the field definitely separated a little bit here. Panning back to Larry Corey, running 22nd. He's about 3/4 of a second off from the lead pack, and he's losing time, even with Roger Hurley giving him a push forward. Gonna be tough to catch up when you've got 21 drivers ahead of you working that draft together. And I also spotted a little bit of lap traffic ahead for these drivers. How is that going to work when drivers have been hinting at 2 and 3 wide all race long? Oh, and we've got somebody crashing. Not quite sure who that was, trying to get an eye out here. I think that might have been Everhart. It was Everhart in the 71. He had got down, and just got packed there. Try and get another replay queued up. I can't quite see who might have tagged him there. And I can't tell if Everhart drifted up or if somebody drifted down. That might have been Fish, I wonder. And while this is going on, there's more carnage. Oh, we've got a pile up here at Talladega. And let's see, I know Sean Foltz was tied up in that one, so let's focus on him there. The number 59 to see what happens. Oh, 59 got dumped by Isaacs. And then there we go. There was, I saw Wayne Hufford up there in the mix. So, and it looks like we might have lost connection right as that happened. So let's see, get this pulled up again here, focusing in on Greg Hammond. I'm not sure what Foltz did to Isaacs, but that was that was brutal. We're gonna watch that one more time because I find it extremely entertaining. Again, we're gonna focus in on Sean Foltz, the number 59. Isaacs thought he was clear, and nothing could have been a further. Hammond drilled into the outside wall there. And let's see if we can get a quick pin. I want to watch that camera angle again because poor Hufford is going to be starring in some content on this one. So this time we're going to be focusing on Hufford, the number 75 machine. Just nowhere to go there. Mark Fish had no idea he was about to get collected. Number 19, also nowhere to go, nowhere to hide. And I think if I saw this right, I think Hufford gets tagged once more here. Ooh, that was the safety car that phased through him, so maybe that's what I saw. I thought Hufford got collected one more time. But doing the right thing there, waiting for the track to clear and waiting for a good opportunity to get back out there without further damaging that number 75 machine. So a good call from Hufford. The drivers showing that are involved in an incident just from my crash report software. Sean Foltz, Greg Hammond, Wayne Hufford, Lonnie Corey. All officially involved in that one, and I will go ahead and guarantee you there's going to be a few more that did not show on the broadcast. The content is here, ladies and gentlemen. So that will be our second caution of the night. And looking at the fuel numbers, that's going to leave one more caution to go before, excuse me, not caution, pit cycle by the end of the night. Although I think it's a fairly safe bet we will have more than one more caution. Right now I'm showing 27 drivers still out on track. About 10 drivers either still behind the wall on pit road or have went ahead and called it for the evening. Green flag is out. Let's try it again. Showing 27 drivers still out on track. And Hill out front, but now he's got Tom Ogle accompanying him on the high side. Hill goes high, throws a bit of a block there on Ogle. That's going to leave TJ Rogers leading the charge the inside line, a third of the way through today's main event. Now, we always say cautions breed cautions, but maybe with so many drivers going home early, that might remind drivers that we are not even to the halfway mark of this feature event. So maybe things will calm down just a little. Maybe. For the most part, looks like the top 5, 6 running single file. We go back to P11, Brian Lynch running 9th. That's where the double file starts. Wayne Huffer's going to try and lift that number 75 machine back out on track here, as Lynch has a little bit of a blink there with a connection issue. As the last thing the other drivers want when you're running 2 wide and about 10 rows deep is for cars to be in and out, and you don't know quite where they're going to reappear at. Can make for a doubly exciting moment here at a Superspeedway. The most of the field fairly well and bunched up here. I'm showing about 22 drivers in this pack. Go a little bit further back, Larry Corey, the number 17. He has Grandpa Pischke, Guy Petra, Dustin Martinson, a little 4-car pack by themselves. And as long as they stay on the lead lap here, they're really in an okay spot. They're not going to be able to catch up to the lead pack. But the odds of us going green till the end of a fuel run are looking a little slim here from what we've seen thus far. Dan Hill still enjoying the clean air in the front of that number 7 machine. Ogle tucked in behind. Now Ogle, he's the one who came down pit road twice with that first caution, trying to get a different fuel strategy going on. Unfortunately, with that second caution, gonna kind of undo all that pit road work and planning for the number 11, but still in a good spot up 13 positions. Hard charger right now, Victor Lane up 24 spots, running 4th out on track. He's tucked in behind William Martin in 3rd. Lee Warsdale, we talked about him a bunch earlier on, the number 99. He was up 30 spots at one point. Now up 18 positions, so still having a good night, but gonna have to redo a little bit of the work here. There's Eric McCluskey. He's on the inside line. The pink and white number 96 Chevrolet up 20 spots. He's accompanied by a fellow Canadian, Andy Thomas, the number 12 on the high side. The Irwin Back Toyota. Oh, there's another little blink there. That time it was from Greg McDaniel, the number 1. So Thomas and McCluskey are 2 fastest Canadians, 5th and 6th. Lee Warsdale, Roger Hurley, Dustin Martinson making up the other Canadian still, and Wayne Hufford, the other Canadian still out on track. So gotta hand it to the Canucks. All the northern entries still out on track, despite some mangled bodywork so far this evening. There's Jeff Lyden, number 39. He's still working the high side. I think it's going to be TJ Rogers joining him from behind. Right now, it's a Ford-dominated top three, though. Hill, Ogle, Martin all piloting the Mustangs, all nose to tail. You've got Toyota up in fourth, and then Chevrolet currently fifth through eighth place out on the track. And who was that I just saw? Was that Lane? I think it was in the inside line, the number 10. The 96 of McCluskey behind. Lane now up 22 positions if he can make it stick there against Moore. Lane having a good showing here tonight. As we're getting closer and closer to the halfway mark. Sean Foltz, number 59. We talked about him in the bubble position for the next round of Chase playoffs. He came into tonight 8th in points. We're only taking the top 8 after next week's event at Charlotte. So Foltz getting back out there, trying to salvage some points. Let me take a look here and see if there's anybody else in the chase that might have been knocked out already. I could be looking at this wrong, but I don't see anybody 7th place or higher who's been officially knocked out of the event here. So Foltz gonna have his work cut out for him. Now at lap 45, that will signal the halfway mark of today's main event. And inside line, can't tell if that's quite the move or not. There's Michael Dow moving a little bit further up in the number 60 machine. So right now it looks like the outside line getting some more pace. Jeff Lyden, he's going to go a high in the number 39. He might be seeing what I'm thinking here. Looks to me like a lot of the drivers starting to drift up on the high side a little bit. Dan Hill still out front, getting credit for all the laps led so far here. Not all the laps, but a whole bunch of them at least. We've got Fish as well as Waldo join us in the spectator area. Always appreciate the humor from those two. Fish saying that was fun, and Waldo saying that was not the night we were looking for. And I think both may be accurate. Dan Hill still running strong. Ogle giving him a push forward. Jerry Isaacs down pit road, the number 51 machine. Gonna come down by his lonesome, but no. Immediately, it looks like Roger Hurley, the 77, also coming down pit road. There's lap traffic ahead for the race leaders. That was Wayne Hufford and a few others in tow here. So that's going to leave it as 24 drivers currently on the lead lap. Now, Roger Hurley and Jerry Isaacs have been down pit road for about a minute each here. So I'm wondering if they may be facing some sort of big issue and if they're going to be able to get back out on track. Dan Hill still running out front. Now he's going to be burning a little bit more fuel, pushing his own air around here at the Superspeedway. Now, James Waldo giving us some good inside scoop here, saying the car felt good, handled well in traffic, didn't quite suck you up to the next car very well, So drivers not able to make those big lunges they were looking for, and it was very easy to lose the draft. So that's some very good intel from Mr. Waldo joining us in the spectator area. Now, we did get a report that we think Jerry Isaacs has officially put it behind the wall, and his team could put out a quick PR apologizing to the drivers that were tangled up. So a big thumbs up there to Isaacs. And hey, sometimes that happens. Now I'm curious. The last pit stop was on lap 28 under caution. So I think the pit window is going to open up around lap 63. Now, looks like only looks like 16 drivers in the lead pack here. Greg McDaniel running 17th. Kind of in no man's land here. He's about 5.6 seconds off the lead pack. So he's going to be hoping for another incident to rejoin the field here. Now, this is also interesting as well. Apparently there's some storms coming in, and power has been flickering here in the southeast, so we're going to keep an eye out and make sure things are good up here in the virtual broadcast booth. So if the show suddenly stops, you'll know why. So if you're just tuning in, we are 54 laps into the 90 laps of this main event, the YesterYear Racing Cup Series here at the OBRL. We've had a couple of really big cautions so far, and we have really whittled down the field. Out of 37 entries, we have 24 still on the lead lap. And look at this, I think I see 27, 28 drivers still circulating. Dan Hill still out front. Tom Ogle, William Martin run out the top three. Andy Thomas, Patrick Martindale, your top five. Top four drivers seem to be very content running single file. You go back to Martindale, the 93 machine. He's been running double file with Lee Warsdale, our hard charger, running in 6th. Roger Hurley's going to come back out on track. I think that's going to make it 29 drivers still circulating. Hurley 10 laps down as it stands. And right now, Martindale and Warsdale side by side. Robinson and Lydon side by side right behind them. And I think I saw Chris Bates and the number 81 machine starting to join the party a little bit here. Now, if we are getting to a green flag pit stop, you'll start to see these drivers funneling into a single line to make things a little bit easier coming on pit road. Doesn't quite look like that's happening yet as the top 4 staying linked up. Now they're going to try, and again, it's a big if we get any green flag pit stops here tonight. But if we do, they're going to have to be absolutely perfect if they do not want to lose any track position. And it's pretty much a given everybody's going to take full fuel here to make it to the end and account for any possible green-white checker conditions. Shazi Zuhair join us over in the spectator area. Good to see our old friend Shazi doing well, living the dream, an open wheel racer here on the iRacing service. Oh, things are getting a little bit squirrely right there. Not quite sure who that was bucking around. I couldn't tell. I don't think that was a Mossy. Maybe that was more in the 26. No, it wasn't more. Jeff Lydon, perhaps, I wonder? Yes, it was Lydon, the Piggly Wiggly number 39 machine. Drifted a little bit high there next to Amasi. Might have missed the mark just ever so slightly, but no harm, no foul. Everybody trying to get themselves plenty of room out here. And things are starting to jockey around. Looks like the top 8 pulling away just a little bit here. That's Josh Thompson at the end of the road. Tom Massey, the number 62, has dropped off by about 1.5 seconds from those lead drivers. So are we about to see some green flag pit stops as we start the 61st lap here this round of the Chase playoffs? Now, here's a question for the fans, especially the drivers that have been forced into an earlier retirement here. With, well, we assume everybody's going to take full fuel on these pit stops. If I remember correctly, the time to fuel the car is about the same time in pit stall to take 4 tires. So is there any reason, if you're taking a full gas tank, not to take 4 tires? I'd imagine this green flag pit stop that's imminent will be 4 tires, full fuel for everybody who comes down pit road. But I've been wrong plenty of times before, so that's why I'm asking you guys. And that was a little bit busier pack right there with Patrick Martindale leading the charge. That's 9th through about 16th place run together. Curious to see, is Dan Hill going to lead these drivers down pit road in the near future? Looks like yes, it's going to be a pit road party here. Dan Hill leading them in. Tom Ogle, William Martin, Lee Warsdale, Andy Thomas, Chris Bates, Josh Thompson all down pit road together. Martindale leading his pack. Stays out. Martindale at 93 is going to get credit for a lap lead here. But it looked like everybody was smooth coming on pit road with that lead pack. So these should be the final necessary stops of the evening. Everybody at this point, once they come down pit road, should be good on fuel to make it all the way to the end here. Now, we were talking about pit cycles. On that one, it was Josh Robinson fastest in and out of a stall, 9.8 seconds. So he might have taken only 2. Oh, and look at that, 3 wide into pit road. It's going to be exciting here. Now, drivers in the drivers' meeting asked about, hey, if we're 3 wide coming down pit road, who's supposed to yield here? Race Control very professionally said, this isn't an issue until it is an issue. So we've definitely got some drivers taking just enough fuel to make it to the end. I'm seeing Lloyd Moore in and out, 9.6 seconds. Jeff Lydon, 10.17. Patrick Martindale might have had a pit road penalty. He's been in his stall for 24 seconds and counting here. So that means the top 7, top 8 drivers out on track, as here comes Lane down pit road. Still need to come down pit road. Tom Massey stays out on his lonesome here, the number 62. But he will get credit for a lap led here this round of the Chase playoffs. 25 laps left to go. Massey trying to use lap traffic to his advantage, but he caught up mighty quickly there. I also see Greg McDaniel, Brian Lindsay, TJ Rogers, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. I'd imagine they'll be coming down pit road relatively soon. How long does Massey opt to stay out for? He's going to go for at least one more here. Tom Massey continues to stay out. McDaniel, Lindsay, and I think Rogers coming down pit road together. Yes, they are. So Massey, a bit of a interesting play here. Maybe hoping for a late race caution as we're 23 to go. Looks like Dakota Pischke, he's coming down pit road. Guy Petra, Larry Corey also down pit road. But that should be the rest of the drivers that are still in the hunt here, completing their final pit stops of the evening. So Tom Massey continues to stretch the run and his number 62 Chevrolet. The only thing I can think of is he's going to run that car empty, hoping for a caution that will put him in a good track position. But there we go. He's going to come down pit road. So he is probably running a little bit short there on fuel, I'd imagine. He did about 40 laps on that run. That's going to put Dan Hill, I believe, back as your race leader. Hill has Ogle and Robinson, his two teammates, linked up here. And they've got a 6.8 second on Lloyd Moore, who has Jeff Lydon, Josh Thompson, and Lee Warsdell in tow. So this is going to be very interesting if this thing stays green, as we're just shy of 20 laps to go. And that's what the fans are saying. 4 drivers in that second, we'll call them the chase pack like the fans did. Unless they get some help from lap traffic, Lloyd Moore might be in trouble as he sits in 4th, because your top 3 have picked up a little bit of lap traffic of their own, helping out with the momentum. Now coming into tonight, Robinson and Ogle up front were the top 2 in the chase playoffs. Dan Hill came into tonight 12th in the points. He really needs a strong result to make his way, lock his way in, I should say, to the next round of chase playoffs. I don't quite recall how comfortable Hill is on road courses, so a win here at the Superspeedway could very well give him some breathing room going into Charlotte next week. We're 20 laps left to go. I think that wasn't McDaniel. We saw another driver going a lap down here. He's going to try and latch on to the top 3, and we've got lap traffic starting to join here. And Hill, Ogle, Robinson, 1, 2, 3. Now up to almost an 8-second advantage over Moore, Lydon, Thompson, and Warsdell. That's going to be 4th through 7th place. Got to give Lee some credit here. That number 99 up 30 spots from where he started. Now, I don't want to hit these drivers with the commentator's curse, but with how the field is spread out, that is making it less likely to see a late race caution. You've got 5 drivers on screen, only 3 of which are on the lead lap here, as Hill crosses the line and making it 18 laps left to go. The YesterYear Racing Cup Series here at the Old Bastards Racing League. Now again, we think everybody should be good on fuel to make it here till the end, but there is lap traffic on the horizon. Thankfully, the lead pack, all single file here, nose to tail. So as long as they don't catch up on racers that are battling 2 or 3 wide, they should be able to get through without too much major incident. And if these drivers going a lap down or additional lap down have good pace, they will latch on to this lead pack, and that will only increase the pace. The top 3 now about 9 seconds ahead of Lloyd Moore. So still building up steam here. Ogle giving a bit of a push there to Hill, keeping that momentum going. And still 5 drivers on screen. The top 3, the only drivers in the lead lap here, Hill, Ogle, Robinson. Almost wonder if there's some team orders in play as well for some of the Team Miata drivers to make sure Hill is the top car here. Putting himself into a better position for the next round, the final round of this bit of the Chase playoffs. Again, only taking the top 8 to the next stage, the final stage. Now, the remaining 2 rounds that will be broadcasted will be in November 11th and November 10th here at Team Goon Squad, as we are running a limited broadcast schedule. We'll have just about a month off here before we check back in the tail end of the season, and we will crown a champion. November 3rd will be Martinsville. That's guaranteed to have some fireworks. And then, of course, the season finale, November 10th, Phoenix Raceway, is where we will be crowning a new number 1 here. As Hill crosses the line with his teammates behind, it is now a 12-second gap. We pan back to Lloyd Moore. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drivers behind him. But with 14 laps left to go, they're still hemorrhaging time here. They are going to be in trouble if they want any chance. I mean, they have to gain almost a second a lap here against Hill, Ogle, and Robinson before they catch up to that lead pack. So if they want any chance here, they are drastically running out of time to make it happen. Also panning further back, there's Lane, the number 10. He's got McDaniel, Walsh, Bates, McCluskey, Rogers, Andy Thomas all here in this pack as well. They're about 3.4 seconds off that second pack. They're running not quite 2/10 faster than those in front of them. But your top 3, they're running almost 6/10 faster than anybody else out on track here tonight. So they've got something dialed in going on up front. Last time by, Hill, your race leader, a 49.64. Moore, who's leading that second pack, clicked off a 50.13. Lane, who leads the third pack from 8th place back, clicked off a 50.04. Man, these top drivers absolutely ripping here at Talladega. Getting even faster, a 49.52. So the Team Miata drivers showing how to bump draft perfectly and how to stay absolutely synced up in line. Now, by the end of this, you might see that third pack catch up to the second. But again, we are really clicking off some lap times here. I mean, Hill is only 4/10 off his fastest lap of the race. Hill got down to a 49.11 at some point. Let's see what updates do. Last time was a 49.52. What is it going to be this time around? A 49.66, so very consistent. Larry Corey has come down pit road once more. It is now almost a 14-second gap to that second pack of drivers. And the third pack, led by Lane, whittling away here. About 2.9 off the back bumper of Lee Warsdale. The 99 running 7th. Warsdale's our hard charger, up 30 positions here tonight. He can see him ahead here for Lane. They're going to try and keep this pack formed up perfectly. And I mean, if they play their cards just right and make no mistakes, there's a chance, although a small one, that these drivers running 8th through 14th could find themselves battling for a top 5 by the time it's all said and done. But again, they've got to hit these marks absolutely perfectly. 10 laps left to go. Lane 2.7 seconds back from Warsdale. So barring a caution, it is extremely unlikely the top 3 have extended their gap, 15.6 seconds, less than 10 laps left to go here. But Lane within 1.7 seconds of that second pack, and that second pack looking a little disjointed. So I think this is where the action's going to be at here with 8 laps left to go. Lane might have caught the tail end of that draft. It is 1.1 seconds back from the second pack and whittling down mighty close. And if we are going to have a caution that's going to interrupt the dominant performance of our top 3 drivers, I think this is going to be it right here on camera. Look at the closing speed. Here comes Lane. A half second back from Warsdale and closing fast. Lane's going to lead his freight train up to the high side. Does anybody throw a block on the number 10? I don't think that second pack even realized how fast the momentum was from Lane. Lane makes it up to P8 so far, continues the charge. But he's got somebody just threw a block. Was that Warsdale, the 99? I think it was. And here we go. Is there going to be a caution? We had drivers into the wall. Somebody's going to be having some hurt feelings. It's Chris Walsh, the 63. There's no caution being thrown, but this is what happens late in the race when people start throwing block passes for 8th, 9th, 10th place. And I haven't really recognized any of these drivers that are desperately trying to make it to the next round and chase playoffs. But hey, if you're going to be a hero, make sure you do it on camera so we can have the replay button queued up. Lane has moved up into P6. Chris Walsh showing as a crash, but he takes a tow back down pit road. So he will not have a caution in his favor. And it's going to be one upset driver after this one. All that work just to go home with 6 laps left to go. Lane has fought his way up to a P5. He's side by side with Lloyd Moore, the number 26. Lane up into 4th now as he's on the inside line. Moore up high. Greg McDaniel tucked in behind Lane, gonna try and give him a push. But what was the second pack of drivers was mighty disjointed early on as we hinted some 3-wide action. We almost had a crash just a lap prior. And if we are gonna get one, I think it's gonna be right here as we've seen some nasty block packs, some mighty big pushes. What are these guys doing? They're battling for 10th. And the gloves are off here at Talladega Grand Prix. Lloyd Moore holding on to 4th, Lydon in 5th. Victor Lane is now sitting in 6th. We've seen drivers really leaning on each other here. This is giving the top 3 about 19 seconds, and we've got a crash developing again. Who's it going to be this time? Jeff Lydon, Greg McDaniel, TJ Rogers. There's going to be a crash coming out, and we are going to have the yellow throne with 4 laps left to go. Drivers battling for a P8. We're not able to hold it together here. So let's see if we can get this queued up. See if we can focus on where's that happen. Victor, oh, it's Lane gets hit there. Poor Lane. So I want to get this one queued up once more, focusing in on that number 10 machine. So wait, what happened there? Did the 39 get a bad bump draft, I wonder? So let's go to the YesterYear Racing back chopper cam and break this one down. Number 39 machine is there, takes a look to the inside line. Hooks one of the other drivers, I think that was the 39 of Jeff Lydon. Lydon gets into Lane. Lane just an innocent bystander there. Lane comes back up on track. And he's just going to get hit from every which angle here. So not only do we have drivers crashing each other for a chance of a top 10 here, now it's going to really rack things up and reshake them. I was like, surely Hill's not actually going to come down pit road, but Hill, Ogle, Robinson have built up almost a 20-second advantage over the rest of the field. That's going to be undone. So that is going to put us into green-white checker conditions. And this is going to be an absolute bloodbath the final laps, because now you've got everybody stacked back up. A lot of drivers think they've now suddenly got a chance at a win here. But thankfully, for the bodywork departments of these teams, only one green-white checker attempt available. I want to give a quick shout out to Wayne Hufford as I'm talking about him in chat. For those that don't know, Hufford, a big racer, a Twitch streamer as well. He usually does, on the non-broadcasted nights, we'll do a post-race recap where he shares his ires and disappointment for some of the moves. So that is the reference when I say I sound like Hufford on this one. So big thumbs up to Wayne Hufford. Hufford currently running P25, regretting his life choices here at Talladega. Jeff Lydon, Victor Lane are going to get back out on track, it looks like. Not sure if Lane's going to be on the lead lap here or not. I think he might still... Yes, Lane is going to stay on the lead lap. Now this is going to be interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Well, crack open a beverage, ladies and gentlemen. We're 3 laps left to go here at Talladega, the Yesteryear Racing OBRL Cup Series. This is the one, the only green-white checker attempt here. Can Dan Hill, who had built up almost a 20-second advantage with his teammates Ogle and Robinson behind, hold on to it here? Or are we still leaving some bodywork left to destroy here? Now, next week we go to the Roval at Charlotte, where drivers are going to really need to nail those right-hand corners to stay into the final round of the Chase playoffs. Here we go for the final time of the evening. The green flag is out, and away we go. Ogle and Hill up front. The 2 teammates going to try and control the restart here. Now, if we can take the white flag without further incident, we will finish this thing under a standard checkered flag. But if there is any cautions left to be thrown, that will be the end of the race as far as green flag shenanigans go. Already I see some drivers weaving around. Ogle up into the race lead, Moore up into second. Warsdale has sneaked up into third. Hill, who's the dominant driver so far tonight, has fallen back. He's fallen back to fifth. But now it looks like the inside line going to get going. Is Ogle going to help stack the field up on the high side, helping his teammate, the number 7 machine, to make his way up towards the front? Ogle still up front as we get ready. Hill working up the inside line. He's next to Moore. White flag is out, so this is it, ladies and gentlemen. Our team orders in play. Is Ogle going to stack up the high line to allow Hill to bring home a championship and really help his chances in getting the final round of the Chase playoffs? Or is it going to be every man for himself here? Robinson, the other team out of driver, falling back to fifth as we are going 3 wide down the backstretch for the final time. Or are we going to make it to the end without incident? Hill working the inside line against Ogle. Here we go through 3 and 4, the final time of the evening. Who's it going to be? Ogle showing ahead by 0.04 of a second. Hill charging up the inside line as we unfurl the checkered flag. It's gonna be, who's it gonna be? It's gonna be Tom Ogle bringing home the win here at Talladega. Dan Hill getting second. Lloyd Moore will round out the top 3. We're going to get these top 3 drivers to the start-finish line. For the podium celebrations. And then we're going to get them all up here to the broadcast booth for their interviews. I think it's going to be a good interview. There's Ogle, there's Hill, and there's Moore coming into frame. But a great run from these three drivers. And Ogle gonna burn it down in style here at Talladega. A very well-deserved win for the number 11. Looked like he was gonna have to be content playing second fiddle all evening. But thanks to a late race caution, puts that number 11 machine on the top spot. We're waiting to get our top three drivers up here to victory lane. And then we will get the podium interview shenanigans started here. We had Tom Ogle actually joining the wrong room, so that's a good start. We've got Dan Hill. Now we're waiting on Lloyd Moore. Where art thou, Lloyd Moore? There we go. Looks like we're getting everybody here. We're going to get things started with Mr. Lloyd Moore. Join us. Lloyd, you got a copy?
I sure do. You got me?
Yes, sir. Lloyd, how about that caution into the race to kind of revitalize a podium chance here at Talladega?
Yeah, that was definitely interesting. Good opportunity to push Tom there at the end, but I need this run trying to get into the next cut in the final 8. So 2 back-to-back third place finishes. I love it.
So Lloyd, I guess that my next question is, would you rather have a safe 5th, but because it didn't look like that second pack was at all safe, or would you rather kind of risk it with the caution, shuffle the field back up, and kind of gamble on a higher finishing position? Not sure if you're not hitting.
Got you on the wrong radio.
There you go. Hit the right button.
Yeah. So I could have pushed something there, but I knew top 5 with the bonus points there at the end was what I needed to do.
Well, Lloyd, super cool to have you back up here in the top 3. It's been way too long, my friend. Some great points going to the final round of this series of the Chase Playoffs. Before I let you go, who do you want to give a shout out to that helps make third possible for you?
Hey, got to like the Top Flight Racing team. My teammate Jeff did a great job pushing me tonight, and the rest of the crew, and my sponsors, Dermag Truck Bodies and Magnum Headache Racks.
Awesome, Lloyd. Good time talking to you again, buddy. Congratulations on third, and hopefully we'll have you coming up here more often in the final rounds of the season.
That's the goal. We'll see you then, boys.
Thank you, sir. That was Lloyd Moore bringing it home in the third place position. Up next, we've got Mr. Dan Hill join us, the number 7. Dan, it looked like you guys were going to have a clean breakaway, almost a 20-second advantage, and I know you guys were shaking your head when that yellow flag came out there at the end.
Yeah, I mean, because especially, all I wanted to come in here was, try to get in the top 10, maybe, and have a 0x, and the last thing I wanted to do was have to mix it up with 2 to go with the entire pack of cars.
Now, I know it was a bit of a roller coaster of a night here for you, Dan. You're out front, such a long run with your teammates right behind you. Then the caution comes out and kind of puts you right back in the hot seat and gets the nerves fired back up.
Yeah, I mean, we as a team really, we nailed our pit stop, and and that was really kind of what I was hoping for, so we could kind of just hopefully get to the end without having to mix it up there. We had already talked it out. We were going to race it out no matter what, but it would have been a little bit more fun if it would have just been us 3 fighting for the win instead of 25 more cars.
Well, still, Dan, a great run all the way around from that MXPX-backed number 7 Ford Mustang. Super cool to have you up here. A ton of laps led, some great points helping you out going to the Roval. So before I let you go, who do you want to give a shout to that helped you grab second here tonight?
Well, I got to give a shout out to Tom. He's probably the best pusher in this league, but also Josh. He's an amazing teammate as well. Shout out to Victor, for everything that he's done to keep this league around and running, and all the other admins on the team. And thank you for your broadcasting. We're sure going to miss you when you're gone. Thanks to my wife for putting up with me racing.
Awesome. Dan, always a pleasure, buddy. Congratulations on second, and hopefully we'll have you up here in the remaining few rounds of the season.
That's what I'm hoping for. Thanks, buddy.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And that was Dan Hill in the second place position. Up next, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Tom Ogle, the White Claw back number 11. Welcome back to the top spot, buddy.
Thank you. Kind of got lucky there with a good push at the end, but I've kind of managed the race all the way up until that point pretty good. The three of us did especially.
Now, Tom, you guys, all the Team Yada drivers have put yourself in a good position going into the Roval. It's always a bit of a draft lottery when we go out to a super speedway. You guys had quite the run where it's just you three and some lap drivers behind and looked like smooth sailing. Then naturally we had that green-white checker to have everybody's blood pressure checked there at the end.
Yeah, well, I didn't really want to see that. We were going to race it out. Obviously, we weren't going in line like that, but we did line up after the pits, and we just kept. I thought they had a bigger pack. That I go, they're going to run us down, but we just stayed in line, and we were gaining like 2 or 3 tenths every lap almost. It was pretty crazy, actually. We were just hooked up and pushing good, though. The best push I got all night is I was like stuck in like 23rd or 24th, and Victor popped up to the third lane finally. I kept trying it, and if he would have stayed up there, he'd have probably stayed up there too, because I shoved him right to the front. But then everybody gets nervous, up there on top, and drops to the bottom, and then you kind of get freight trained. I knew the middle lane was going to be the fast lane.
Well, it looks like it worked out well for you. Now, Tom, we go into the Roval next week to decide what top 8 drivers we're taking. Does the win here tonight kind of relieve a little bit of pressure at the upcoming road course?
I just need to go there, get a top 5 and 0x. Now, 0x at the Roval is a big mountain to climb, but I just got to keep closing on Josh because he is a robot and doesn't make mistakes ever. So it's hard to, you know what I mean? If a guy, you kind of wait for the other guy to make mistakes, and he does not at the Roval. So him and Dan are really good at road courses.
Well, it seemed like a great race all the way around for you here. The number 11 machine looked like it was hooked up on rails. You and the whole team did a great job all night long. And Tom, before I let you go, who do you want to give a shout to? You got the privilege, the pleasure, the final send-offs of the night after a massive win here at the Superspeedway.
My teammates, they really helped us stay up front. Good runs. All the guys that put the league on, they spend a ton of time. The admins spend so much time working on this league all week. Victor, for all the time and effort he puts in, and you, of course, for popping in and broadcasting when you're not dropping chicken coops on your feet and whatnot.
Right, I appreciate
Chasing motorcycle glory.
Yeah, it's a tough life, but somebody's got to do it. Well, Tom, always a pleasure, buddy. Super cool to have you up in the top spot for the broadcast, and we'll see you in a few weeks when we're back for the final 2 rounds of the season, and hopefully we'll have you up here again.
All right, thanks, James.
Thank you, sir.
Yep, talk to you.
And that was Mr. Tom Ogle, race winner and professional White Claw drinker, bringing in the top spot here, the YesterYear Racing Cup Series. He was accompanied by Dan Hill in second and Mr. Lloyd Moore rounding out the top 3. On behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, as well as the Old Bastards Racing League, my name has been James East. Thank you all so much for spending your Sunday night with us, and we'll see you at the next one. Have a great night, everybody.